Saturday here at JDL. Should add that. So Saturdays are a little more laid back. It's usually just myself and Henry work on newer things. He's actually finishing up some welding now, and he's going to be machining some weld fixtures. He's doing that. I was hoping to be a little further on the ND exhaust. However, still waiting on one of the most important things we need for to build the mufflers to come in. It's coming from overseas. It's not here yet. Hopefully this coming week, but this weekend I'm working on a new header for the 8.6 platform. I know we've offered a 4:2:1 equal length for a while now, about 4 years. Henry's actually finishing up a logo tag and the O2 bung on that right now. I'll show you guys once he's got that done. Here's our 4:2:1 that's gonna be going off to coating this week. We're working on a batch of them right now. This one's still in the fixture. Nothing's all polished up or anything since it's a weekend Cerakote ceramic coating. So this has been super popular. A lot of people have been asking for some sound clips of this one on the new 8.6. We will have one going on soon. However, today we're working on a 4:2:1 with a Jesse EPA compliant catalytic converter. We do have a 4.2 or a UEL with the same catalytic converter. We've never done a 4:2:1 with one. So the UEL header, we took off the website for a while now. We could not get these. I've had them on order for at least 6 months. Finally got some stock. Here's, we give them a box of 6 at a time. We do have some back in stock with the UEL catted header will be going back on the website shortly here once we build up some inventory. Unfortunately, like everything else in the world, these have gone up in price a lot. It's about $550 for one of these now. This won't be a cheap header by any means, but it, you know, if you're concerned with emissions and that, it's basically what you need. I have ran the catted version of this, or I'm sorry, the UEL version with this cat on my GR86, no tune, no nothing, no check engine lights, no defouler needed, nothing like that, just functions like factory. So this one's cleaned up a little bit. Same catalytic converter that's gonna be going into this header right here. I've been working on getting a start to it. It's gonna be a different design than this one. This one obviously does not have a catalytic converter in it, more of a race header. A little bit longer runner lengths. By the time there's total 3 collectors in there. Your primary runners, which are 1 diameter, your secondaries, which are a larger diameter. So somewhere we gotta fit the catalytic converter after this, which obviously isn't gonna happen on this one, while retaining modular OEM header placement. So we kind of got to build a condensed version of this. This is an FA20. This is not an FA24 from a newer car. I haven't blown up one of those yet. So I have plenty of these for mock-up.
You can
but this is a piece that we make that bolts onto here, catches where the OEM header terminates, so the placement is identical between parts. This piece right here is specific to the Gen 2. Same type of position, but slightly different. This catches the Gen 1 header in the exact location. There is, like I said before, there is a slight difference between these 2 locations. So it's over here. So yeah, you can see here, to get a little creative with the secondary collector, we'll still have it a real nice merge. 2:1 collector made out of a 60-degree bend. So I suppose I should talk about the runners. These are not stainless steel, from company Ice Engine Works. This is honestly probably my first time really using them. I've always just eyeballed this stuff and calculated my lengths and measured volume with some liquid. These definitely make it a lot easier, a lot less wasted material. Kind of like Legos. These pieces right here are 1-inch increments. This is, I think they're 15-degree bends. Diameter of the tube, 1.75, and then the clearance for the radius of the bend. So I know every block like this is 1 inch, then we can kind of match them. I guess the only downside with these is when they're in 15-degree increments, you're kind of forced to work with 15-degree increments. When out of steel, that's not what we would do. The angle would be whatever it needs to be exactly. Like on here, it doesn't quite hit the angle into the collector correctly. So, but if I put another 15-degree piece, it's too much at the same time. So I kind of just use these as a guide before I go pre-cut out the pieces out of stainless. So that's kind of where I'm at with this thing right now. When you're doing a 4:2:1 tri-Y design, you have to pair certain cylinders together in the firing order. The back 2 over here are going to be paired together. These front 2 are going to be paired together and come into here. You can see the same thing on this particular part. The back 2 kind of merge into there. The front 2 cylinders in into here. So we're keeping the same pairing onto this. It's just a little bit shorter runners, like I said, just to fit the cat and retain that modular position there. So yeah, we'll these ones are kind of where they need to be before I make them out of steel. And now we're gonna kind of see if we can come up with a collector for the front, put something together here. You'll end up with something like that right there. What I'm gonna do is just kind of tape these to the flange as best as I can. Start eyeballing the merge collector. Cut something up real quick, see what we can, kind of what I'm thinking will look like here. And now that the runners are we kind of got some runners put together. Nothing final, obviously, but just that's the nice part about these is you can very easily make changes. You don't gotta go cut another $40 bend up, grind it, and do all that. So this I grabbed a couple pieces I had laying around, scrap here, straight piece, and then it's like a 70-degree bend. Once we make the collector, then we'll do the secondary right there. But I'm kind of gonna just take some measurements, draw it out, cut it by hand, just like as this is just a prototype. If everything works out, then we'll make fixtures to cut all this stuff, just like we have for. Just show you some of the other stuff here. These are going to be some collectors for UEL headers, 4 2-to-1 tri-Y headers. Go through a ton of them. We're doing a batch of 50 UELs right now this week coming up, so we're getting a lot of these prepped. They start off CNC laser cut. That way everything's all the same. We used to cut these by hand years ago, and it just took 15 minutes for one piece like this. Cut slow and cut straight. Yeah, so much more efficient to have them lasered. We got boxes of these upstairs like this. You can basically just pull from there, clean them up, fit them together, and then they weld out like this. You can see the inside, the fitments, everything's all fit up nice, back purged, fully welded. These are going to be for some 4 2-to-1 tri-Y headers. They haven't been cut and fit up yet, but they will be. Once they're welded up like that, we're left with the end like that. So we take it over here. Show you to go in here. Goes in there. Clamps down. We run them right through here. They all get cut the exact same angle. Then once they're cut, they go over to the expander. We expand them to 2.5-inch outlet made up to the flange. Flange gets bolted in this fixture that sets the angle correctly every time. This drops right onto here. So that sets the angle. Make sure that the collector is in the same placement when it gets bolted into the manifold fixture. That's very important, as all the runners are CNC manual bent. It starts with this. If this alignment is off, none of the runners will fit. So we got to make sure this is dead on right here every time. Then the runners just kind of plug and play, drop into place. It's a much quicker, easier part that's built right. Yellows for the secondary size. So we'll take this on a bend. I think if I put the other 15-degree piece in there, it's too much. So too much angle, but it gives us an idea where we need a little bit less than that. So I'll trace that out right now on this. Mark that out of there. Transfer that over and cut that and see how close we are. And when we had it on there, you can see that with one of the 15-degree pieces, it wasn't quite enough. 2 of them was too much. So I kind of just eyeballed and placed in the middle. Let's check it out, see how it lines up.
That's pretty good.
I'll grab eyeballing stuff for 20 years, so it's you can kind of get to the point where you see angles and just kind of do it in your head like that, but it takes a while to get there. by no
Looks-
means the most efficient way. These things are huge help with all that. So I drew some quick marks to kind of see where we want to be aligned. Real simple way to take it over the welding desk, put a simple tack on there, and see how the part kind of stands on its own. Pretty close to what we could come up with here today. Stack this and see what it's like. But yeah, this is kind of the start to a 4:2:1 equal length header with a GR86 EPA compliant high output cat. These cats, like I mentioned, they're expensive at $550 roughly for just the cat alone. However, they're rated to handle force induction applications. This particular one that we use in these headers is rated up to 500 horsepower. They make a ultra high output that's rated up to 800. However, not needed for this application. But this does work well for supercharged cars. Works well. I've run it on turbo cars in the downpipe, and great results. And these cats do have a 5-year warranty on the cat itself. But yeah, this is, I wouldn't even call it really a prototype. It's just kind of something I've been wanting to get the ball rolling on this header. There's been quite a bit of demand for something like this. So yeah, now that we received the cats this past week, that figured I'd get started on it. Now the next step is basically to make something similar out of stainless and put one on the car and go from there. And I plan to test a few different variations of this, a few different variations of sizing on the runners also. That'll probably come more down the line once there's actually a tuning and you could actually get some data right now until there's any tuning. And we're not gonna really be able to optimize each part to that level, so we'll start with this one, see how it does. While we were building this, Henry just finished up another 4:2:1. This one, like I mentioned, was going to coating. This one is a raw, polished or cleaned up header. This is gonna be shipping out on Tuesday here. So hopefully we got about 10 of these to build this coming up week. So we'll be current on orders with these, but yeah, you can check it out. You can see the 4:2:1 design provides an increase in power and torque through the mid-range. We've tested this particular header versus our UEL, our specific UEL. We'll post the dyno to show the comparison, but we made anywhere from 10 to 12 horsepower and foot-pounds throughout the mid-range, about the same peak horsepower as our UEL. In the mid-range, there's definitely a substantial gains to be had, and stuff you would feel in everyday driving. I guess the downside to these headers is, for anyone that wants to Subaru Rumble, you're not gonna get it with this like a UEL. But I still believe that the part, real nice sound, as long as it's paired with a good exhaust. I find that the 4:2:1s are a little deeper sounding than some of the 4:1 equal lengths, which can get kind of real raspy. Yeah, I think that's gonna basically do it for today. Hopefully this week some of the titanium parts for the Miata show up and we can have a little progress on that exhaust. Go from there.
Nice.
Good weekend.